How much is the Albanese government's sweetheart deal with Qantas costing you when you fly internationally? The government helped Qantas by banning Qatar Airways from putting on an extra 21 flights a week, and twice suggested it did that to protect Qantas. Assistant Treasurer Stephen Jones, for instance, said, sure, we can drive prices down, but if we drive them down to a level where it's actually unsustainable to run an airline, then instead of having two carriers, we will design our markets in a way which will make it unsustainable for the existing Australian-based carrier, by which he meant Qantas. Well, today, Jane Ridlika, the head of Qatar's Australian partner, Virgin, was scathing.
And I'm sure that every CEO in the country was disappointed to hear that there's one company in the country that should be protected. Well, in a year where Qantas posted $2.5 billion in profit, the largest profit it's ever recorded, I'd be surprised if that was a moment of honesty, because it can't possibly be right.
Ridlika said banning those extra Qatar flights, the government had kept international airfares up to 40% more expensive than they could have been. And yesterday, senators were demanding the head of Qantas, Alan Joyce, tell them about his close ties with the Prime Minister who'd given him this deal. How Joyce even gave Albanese's son a membership to the luxury Qantas Chairman's Lounge. But Joyce told them nothing.
Mr Joyce, in relation to the decision to grant the Prime Minister's son a Chairman's Lounge access, did you have any discussions with the Prime Minister regarding that decision?
Again, I'm not going to comment on Chairman's Club membership. I've got privacy issues.
Joining me are Daniel Wild, Deputy Executive Director of the Institute of Public Affairs, and making his debut on the show, Will Kingston, host of Australiana, a weekly podcast from The Spectator on politics and culture. Daniel, to you first, is it right for the Albanese government to help save our so-called national airline by keeping ticket prices artificially high by banning competition?
Well, Andrew, the decision to keep Qatar out of the market for doing more flights looks as dodgy as all get out. Qantas is putting its prices up. The service reliability and quality is going down. Now, all airlines and businesses have their ups and downs. But the issue here is Qantas is taking those rip-off prices, making big profit. Don't forget, they've had hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer subsidisation over the recent period. Plus, they're benefiting from this oligopoly anti-competitive laws. And then they're funneling that money into Anthony Albanese, our Prime Minister's pet political project, which is the divisive race-based voice to Parliament. I think a lot of Australians look at this and they say this shouldn't happen in a country like Australia. We're seeing the rise of left-wing corporatism where Labor, the Labor Party, which used to be the party of the workers, is now the party of big woke corporations, and customers and families are suffering the consequences.
Yes, I suspect you might be right. But Will, you know what makes all this a bit murkier for me? Look, it might be peripheral, I don't know, but how Qantas has been handing out such favours to politicians, giving all of them membership for the Chairman's Lounge, as we saw when the committee grilling Joyce yesterday declared their own conflicts of interest. Listen to this.
I might remind all senators at the table that if they do have questions around a Chairman's Club membership, it is probably appropriate for them to declare that whether they are also members of the Chairman's Lounge. And as a chair, I would declare my membership of the lounge. Thank you very much to Qantas on bestowing that upon senators when they are elected to Parliament.
Just to clarify, Chair, I also have a membership.
Thank you, Chair, and I just put on record my membership of the Qantas Chairman's Lounge.
Oink, oink, oink around the table. Will, a ban on gifts like the Chairman's Qantas Lounge from Qantas to politicians, is that called for now, do you think?
Geez, that's uncomfortable to watch, isn't it? I instinctively don't love the word ban, but at the same time, of course, it should be a condition of their employment that they can't accept these types of gifts. Now, I will throw out an unpopular opinion on my debut. Just pay them more money or pay for equivalent perks out of the public purse, because, build a politicians only airport lounge, as depressing a place as that would be, because we need to remove this incentive for politicians to accept these great gifts. It's eroding trust in our democracy, and that's such a bad thing.
Will, couldn't agree with you more. You pay for it, you don't accept it as a gift.